Hi guys, this is CJ from CJ's Keto Kitchen. It is December the 30th and it's actually it's not that early, it's like 10 o'clock here in the Pacific Northwest. It's we actually have some sunshine today. I can see that outside my window, and it's not raining, which is always a nice thing here in the Pacific Northwest. We had a big windstorm last night. Just from looking around my house, it doesn't look like we had any damage, so that's always a good thing as well. So, as we roll into 2018, I wanted to do a quick video, and hopefully I can not just ramble on as I do this video about how I started keto and the steps that I took, to really start. So the first thing I did was I actually made a decision, and I think that is actually the most important thing you have to do if you're looking at doing keto and serious about trying to lose weight. I made a decision back on December the 28th to join Sarah in her journey to lose weight doing the keto diet. It was actually a pretty easy decision for me to make because I was already kind of in that space where but I wasn't doing keto. I had lost some weight, just doing calorie counting, exercise type, diet. I'd done that, but that was really hard and slow. And so when Sarah talked to me about, well, actually she didn't really talk to me, but when we talked about keto, or I saw what she was doing, it was easy for me to join her on December the 28th of 2016. So I made a decision to do that. After I made a decision, I started getting as much information as I could. One of the sites I went to was called Ruled, RULED.me, Ruled Me. I'll put a link in the description. And that guy has some really good information about keto, how to start keto, how to live keto as a lifestyle. Everything from recipes to quick start guides. And I actually did purchase the materials. But you don't have to purchase the materials. He's got enough information on his site, just on his blog by itself, where you can figure out and learn how to do keto without even purchasing the materials that he sells. But I will say that his materials are some of the best that I've read. I am an affiliate, but the only reason I'm an affiliate is because I really do believe in the material that he puts out and the quality. I know the quality of the material that he puts out. So I'll put a link if you're interested, in checking them out. Please use our link, and we'll get, we'll get a little something if you purchase anything from them. So anyway, I made a decision. I started doing some research on my own about how to do keto. And then, so after I kind of understood the concept behind, keto as, high fat, medium protein, low carb, then I started taking steps for how to eat. So now I couldn't throw everything out that I had. I couldn't throw all my food away. I have a 9-year-old who's not here all the time, but she is here quite often, and I have to make lunches for her. I feed her, and so I have like joint parental rights or custody. And so it wasn't even feasible for me to throw away all my food. That wasn't even didn't even enter my mind. So, but what I did do is I started looking at, okay, if I need to eat high fat, medium protein, low carbs, I started, figuring out what I could do, especially, especially the first 1 or 2 weeks to do that. So one of the first things that I figured out is, okay, if I buy a rotisserie chicken from, I get mine from Costco because of the price. That's a couple of meals right there. I added some spinach, just some fresh spinach with that. So now I've got a meat with fat and a vegetable as my carbs. And then I started, so I bought a rotisserie chicken. Also got bacon. What else did I buy? Chicken, bacon, pork chops, steaks. And I wasn't looking for lean cuts. I was actually looking for cuts that had, actually had fat on them. Made sure I had a lot of butter around the house because then I started cooking with butter. And then I made sure I had eggs. So my first week on keto was pretty much, a rotisserie chicken for several days, for as long as that would last, with spinach that was sauteed on the stove in butter, and some bacon on the side. That was kind of how I started as far as food. Then I had to think about the issue of snacks, because in my head I've still got, and I still even deal with this today, is this whole eat the more you eat, the faster your metabolism work. So if you eat 5 to 6 meals a day, small meals, your metabolism will stay up. I brought into that for years, and that's something I still have to work through as I try to change, kind of my thinking about things. But so I got pepperoni. I bought pepperoni. I started reading labels, because when I started looking at, and this is hard to, might be hard to believe, but if you look at pepperoni, depending on what kind you want to buy, often there's sugar in the pepperoni, and often there's carbs in the pepperoni. So I started reading the labels, bought some pepperoni that I could use a snack on, bought some cheese sticks, mozzarella cheese sticks, the kind that I put in my kids' lunch. Looked at the macros for that, or the calorie information for that. They look fine, so I added those. I remember we had gotten some, what's this stuff called? Gouda cheese. We shop at a place sometimes called Grocery Outlet, and they had some Gouda cheese and smoked. It was smoked Gouda cheese, and I remember having the smoked Gouda with my pepperoni, and that was a snack. And so, I would have my breakfast, and for breakfast I would eat stuff like scrambled eggs with bacon. My eggs were cooked with a tablespoon of butter, which was, adding to the fat. I would add cheese to the eggs. So I'd have bacon, eggs, and then I also would have some spinach that was sauteed. I'd put all that stuff together, put it in a container, and in fact, I have a little lunch box that's got these portion control containers and I'll put a link in the description. And that, I had already bought that before I started keto, and that was actually pretty helpful to have those containers and that little, lunch box, so that I could pack my lunches and my breakfast, and then be off to work. So, yeah, I had eggs, bacon, spinach. Then I discovered some lower carb sausage that didn't have a bunch of filler in it. Added that to my breakfast mix. And and then just started, rotating food through. I had some really basic stuff covered. The first probably a month. I didn't have anything sweet. I didn't have anything that was like sugar-free, anything. In fact, it took me quite a while before I got to that, if I remember correctly. And that was something that I learned from the people at Ruled Me, where they talked about when you start keto to try to, stay away from artificial sweeteners. And even to this day, we deal with artificial sweeteners and which ones we can have and shouldn't have, and so on and so forth. So that was really how I started keto. Now, one of the challenges that a lot of people have with keto is they get bored with their food. Now, some people like to have a routine. They like to have, some people can eat the same foods every day, and that helps them. I can do that to a certain extent, but there's another part of me that likes variety. And so, but once I figured out some basic foods that I could eat and put in my arsenal, I found keto to be pretty easy. And then we started discovering recipes. We started using Pinterest. I'll put a link to, our Pinterest account, and from there you can, jump out to Pinterest on your own. Pinterest is an app or a website where you can get information about everything all over the web, all kinds of topics that you're interested in. And so if you don't know about Pinterest, I think it's a good resource and to use and just to have, because like I said, I have a lot of different Pinterest boards where I pin a lot of different topics that I'm interested in. So not just keto and diet and that kind of stuff. So that was how I started. Made a decision, got my food, some really basic foods down, and then just started doing it every day. As time, as time progressed and went on, it got easier and easier to pull away as I started seeing results. Because I started losing weight pretty fast. As I started seeing the results, it started being easier and easier to give up, to not look back as far as carbs and all the stuff that was going on around me with, people at work and all the food that's in my office. I work an office job. So, that's how I started keto. And I still practice some of those really basic principles that I, kind of foundationally started back a year ago. I still do those things today. We've gotten a little bit more sophisticated as far as, we've incorporated intermittent fasting and those types of techniques, but still the basics of keto and the foods that I eat haven't really changed that much. We have our CJ's Keto Kitchen channel, but we're not always eating those types of recipes every day. We live life, we have responsibilities, we have, jobs, and so sometimes we have to get things quick. And we try to put recipes that can be incorporated into your lifestyle. And if we need to do more of that, please let us know in the comments. But anyway, that's how I started keto. And hopefully that's a help to somebody. Stay keto strong in 2018. Peace. Bye-bye. Here's a smile.